Let me get the card size big for the draft. That's the thing we're trying to do now. Just started up a game. I am first seat. Gotta love first seat. And we're against Lushkin, Martha, Nordenwatch. Some good players overall here. Childless is just the best card here. I mean, Grocer's quite good, but just gotta take Childless. It's a really good card. And then all of these miners are underwhelming to me. I don't take bottles often enough, so maybe I should just take and try to actually use bottles, but I kind of hate the food and clay cost. I find that bottles often doesn't really net you that many points, but maybe. Threshing board, pond hut can be okay. Like if I later would play a conjure this game. The tough part about Childless is it kind of does use up your whole first stage. So other stuff that I might play in stage 1 on the wheel, like Conjurer, I'm not sure I'll wind up playing or using. But that would make me like Threshing Board a bit more. But I'm using a lot of time. I'll take bottles here, even though I'm not convinced about bottles in general. Okay. Here, I tend to want to build one really quick room. Brushwood Collector could help me build a faster room. In first seat, I can easily take 3 wood, 2 wood. But Brushwood Collector just to build a room is a little lame, although that's literally what Lumen just did. Lumen like literally just beat me in a game earlier this afternoon with a similar idea of just playing Brushwood. And I mean, I could always grow again with Brushwood, maybe. Maybe it's just the safest play to do here. None of these other cards are thrilling to me. They're fine. I think Mantelpiece can be very strong in some games, but I'm not sure it's going to do much for me here. So then stuff like Beanfield's always good. I like Milk Jug a lot in general, especially if I need a lot of food to pay off something like bottles and stuff. And even if you don't eat a lot of food, it's just so much food. I think I just take Milk Jug. I really do think all... Milk Jug is usually like 12 food. 12 food is just a great card. There is a Carpenter. Carpenter plus Brushwood Collector plus Childless is a lot of cards to play, though. So I think we go away from that. But Clay Hut Builder with Brushwood Collector, that's an option. Now I kind of wish I had kept Mantelpiece, because renovating to clay quickly and then playing Clay Hut Builder for late clay rooms was very reasonable. And it still is reasonable. It just would have been better with Mantelpiece. But I think I like Clay Hut Builder here. I don't have time for Carpenter, but Clay Hut Builder with Brushwood Collector, building clay rooms becomes a thing, especially if there is extra clay in the game. Not that I've seen that. It looks like I am playing a decent number of Ox, so like Acorn's Basket here is okay, although the read cost is actually awkward because Brushwood Collector means I might not. Although I can take a Reedstone food action then. So I don't hate that idea. I mean, otherwise Mining Hammer is pretty good. The slight trick with Mining Hammer here is if Mantelpiece comes back, but hoping Mantelpiece comes back is kind of dumb. I'll take Mining Hammer and hope to reno to stone this game at some point. Here, most of these cards suck. I don't care for any of them, except Hedgekeeper can be good. I could try to like go for a big house and then just fence through Hedgekeeper potentially or something. Most of the rest of these cards are underwhelming though too. I don't care much for these. Scullery I think just sucks. Thick Forest generally sucks. So it might just be Stone Tongs. I mean, Stone Tongs often sucks too. We already saw Master Bricklayer and Roof Baluster. And there's a Storehouse Keeper that wants to take lots of Reedstone food actions, so like there might already be a ton of stone in the game. So do I really want to turn a wood into like a stone or two? It's definitely not clear. But I kind of want to reno to stone now. I'm never playing Scullery. I'm never playing 3-field rotation. So it's Thick Forest or Stone Tongs. Ugh. Who is the 4th player? Great question. We have Nordenwatch, Martha, and Lushkin. So this is a very good table overall. Nordenwatch is probably a little better than his rating suggests. He plays a lot over on Play Agricola. Is a very good player. Martha, I don't know much about beyond they're one of these Japanese players that was in the top 10 at some point, and then Lushkin we've seen a bit of recently. I guess I'll take Stone Tongs. I just hate Thick Forest. But maybe Thick Forest would be okay here because I'm gonna have enough clay and it turns into a couple of wood, but bleh. Part of the problem with Thick Forest is like you get the wood at times like if I haven't fenced, well, in this game maybe I am fencing late, but like most of the time the wood just comes so late that it just provides like no value. But still, this card's free. This card cost me a wood. I guess I could still switch. Let's try to actually run Thick Forest for once in our life. I don't normally take this card, so maybe there's something to it. A lot of my cards do suggest I need quite a bit of clay now too, but my early game has to just be about childless, which I think it does mean that I'm just taking 3 wood, 2 wood to start with, and then my next round is ideally take like 3 wood. If I can just get 2 reed, I guess I just take 2 reed. But otherwise I can play Brushwood Collector, can get childless down in there somewhere. Build a room in round 3, have childless going in round 3, probably take a food action. And maybe find time to fit in like a 4 clay action or just take more wood and set up more rooms or something. We'll see. But regardless, we have some okay stuff thus far. I can hide this for now. We do get the Conjurer back, which I kind of thought was likely. People don't value Conjurer much, and the Threshing Board comes back. So I think I take Conjurer Threshing Board here. That's a totally good way to kind of feed long-term this game, potentially. Pastor's garbage to me here. Small-scale Farmer is not a good option either with Childless, so both of these are just bad. So then, I mean, Consultant's okay, but Conjurer's actually pretty good. Now I'm not gonna I presume I can't play Conjurer and take Traveling Players early because I'm just not gonna have the time. But why do we want clay if left to us? Oh, we don't. The only reason I want clay is I'm just saying like I want to reno to clay kind of early because of clay hut builder. Playing bottles at some point, playing milk jug at some point, playing thick forest at some like it's a lot of clay potentially to try to do a lot of that stuff. And then you also usually need like I'm gonna eventually need clay for like a hearth or a clay oven. So I don't have time to play tutor this game. Otherwise, this is an okay looking tutor game. But I've increasingly thinking tutor's not that good in this card set just because I think there's too many ox that you need to play early. Like so many of the ox give you immediate and like important return. It's really hard to find time to play tutor with most hands. Here I think I just take Beanfield. It's generically the best card. And then I don't really like Greengrocer. That's not. If I want to take like a grain action, I'll spam Conjure off Traveling Players. So Pig Breeder's an okay out to just get a late boar potentially. And finally, these cards are garbagey. But if I want more bake actions, Bread Paddle's actually pretty good. It's kind of the same idea as Threshing Board. But if I get a bunch of grain through Childless Conjurer, Bread Paddle could be okay. Large greenhouse, I think, is just generally kind of bad. And I think it's extra bad when I can just get veggies through Childless. So we'll take Bread Paddle, and then I want to use Traveling Players myself. So I don't want other people to take it. And Lutenist is just trash on its own. Oven Firing Boy is also just more bake actions, and I have a million ways to get those. So I don't think I'm playing either of these cards ever. But maybe I don't play Conjure and I play Lutenist instead for... No, there's no way. But there's no way I play Oven Firing Boy, probably. Well, maybe. Whatever. These cards aren't getting played. Okay. We need to completely move our screen around. And resize things. And refresh it all. Okay. Now we're hypothetically good. I'm just gonna take 3 wood, 2 wood, as I said. Like, I could play other things here, but with Childless and First Seat, it's just safest with my hand to just do 3 wood, 2 wood. If I get blocked on Reed, it's okay. I can just take more wood and play Brushwood Collector. Somebody valuing the Storehouse Keeper. You gotta love that. That's gonna be pretty good for Lushkin too. I don't intend to take Reedstone Food like at all in front of him this game. So that could be a pretty huge Storehouse Keeper. Deranged. Yui really loves baking bread. You played Le Havre for the first time and thought, yeah, this is on brand. Yeah, I mean, Rosenberg definitely has an oeuvre that he sticks with. Yeah, definitely has. His games often are worker placements, involve feeding your workers. There's often bread. Two clay. Wow, I was gonna say two clay almost got taken there from Martha, but it takes Reedstone Food instead. But wow, two clay would have been that would have been awesome for me. But was the Storehouse Keeper first pick? No, I passed the Storehouse Keeper. We get a Scythe Worker early from Nordenwatch. That's an interesting play. I'm not sure why you play Scythe Worker in round 1 necessarily. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I passed the Storehouse Keeper. I think that might be a second pick Storehouse Keeper though. That might have been in my opening pack. I'm not sure. So I don't really want to play Brushwood Collector necessarily this game. I mean, it could work for Clay Hut Builder and stuff, but I'm very happy just taking 2 Reed at the start of next round if it comes to that. If I can't take 2 Reed, that's when Brushwood Collector kind of comes into play. I'll just take more wood, try to play Brushwood Collector, build a room, play Childless. I will be kind of hungry. One potential issue this game, depending on how the early food goes from everybody else. Well, okay. Well, there goes the idea of taking 2 Reed anyhow. Martha just went Reedstone Food 1 Reed. So that's actually a fine sequence for me next round. I could take Reedstone Food 1 Reed next round, potentially. Is another option for me. Which, gosh. I'm a big fan of getting a stone and a food. The alternative here is I take 3 wood, assume that I wheel Brushwood Collector, and then I just have nobody has wood early. Oh, I don't even get Ock back here though necessarily, right? That's the tricky part. There's no 2 Reed actions. If I take 3 wood, it can go Reedstone Food, Ock, and then I'm kind of screwed. So it might be safest to just go Reedstone Food, single Reed here. Yeah, I guess that's what I do. Martha going 1 Reed there was really interesting and surprising. Brush on first and wood on second. I mean, that's an option too, Yellinger. I could just play Brushwood Collector here if I wanted to, but I'm not that beholden to playing Brushwood Collector this game. We get a Cottager out of Martha, so okay. Generally some funky stuff happening early this game. Like, the Scythe Worker did get plow in round 1, so actually, I mean, I kind of like that. I don't hate the idea of Scythe Worker just plowing, and then sowing a single grain, but you think Reedstone Food is better. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think you're correct that I could have just played Brushwood and then taken wood on the wheel. That's all. That is actually totally fine, but just playing a grocer early here, guessing Norden really doesn't want to be Ocking, but he's just in 4th seat because he's playing some cards that you wouldn't necessarily really want to be playing. Lushkin start players here probably to get on Reedstone Food, but this is just wow, plays Scullery. Okay, so for the record, I continue to think Scullery is a really bad card. It forces you to take an early clay action and an early wood action, and then an early start player. I mean, he wants to start player anyhow, so maybe it's going to be okay. But anyhow, the concern here is I really want to Ock next round and build a room. And I'll probably get to do that, but being 4th here is a little bit of a trap. Lushkin will take Reedstone food. Martha's going to take 3 wood. The fact that Martha has 3 wood and cottager means I probably could get away with Ock and then build room, but I probably have to build room and then hope to wheel Ock. And as soon as I build room here in round 3, everybody should know what's up. So I really don't like the look of this. But maybe Martha takes 4 clay instead. Maybe Martha might be the one with the cottager play might indicate they got mantelpiece, but they do just take 3 wood. So, yeah, this is a little unfortunate. So I mean, Martha clearly wants to day labor deranged. So the question is is Martha just a strong enough player to be disciplined to just day labor anyhow, or if I play childless for free here, will they just block me? You would Ock first. I'm leaning towards Ocking first too, because even in the worst case scenario, even if Martha blocks me, I just build a room next round, and that's okay. I can survive just building a room next round. But if I was Martha here, I probably would not block childless, but I might. What's the chance I just get Ock? Well, again, if I play this, everybody knows I want to Ock. Is that a problem? I mean, I also save a food this way, potentially. Whatever, screw it. We're gonna try this. Martha might block us. I really don't know. I don't think it makes a ton of sense for Martha to block, but Lushkin takes wood, which makes sense. Yeah, I mean, deranged. It might have just been better to build because I probably get Ock back, but then it might cost me a food. Like, I really don't know what the right order was here. I mean, the upshot is even if I get blocked here, I can take 3 food or 4 clay. I just build next round. It's... Martha is doing none of what I thought. I thought for sure Martha was gonna... Well, I guess why would Martha day labor build? Oh, okay, well, there we go. That explains some things. Well, that's a little scary. That's why Martha just took 1 read, though. Yeah, I guess if you have a carpenter's parlor, what's the best action for you in round 1 besides 1 read in that position? You really don't need anything else, so makes enough sense. But okay, we get away with it here. It also looks like there might be like 6 clay next round. I don't think I get it, but gosh, that would be a great follow-up. Northern Watch clearly wants to buy down to the grain on this card and then sow 2 fields, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but this is a great childless start. Getting the room here is quite handy to me because I actually don't have to get a food action here either. Does opening 3 wood, 2 wood, round 1 make it obvious you're childless? Kind of, that's true. They probably all kind of knew I was childless anyhow. Or at least they probably should have. Yeah, it probably was pretty clear, actually. Martha just takes 2 reed here to open, makes tons of sense. I would really like 6 clay, but Northern Watch, well, who knows? Northern Watch might value 4 wood or something else. I'd love like 6 clay, 4 food this round. That would be I think 6 clay, 4 food is the best possible outcome for me. Because of this axe in the game, or Carpenter's Parlor, sorry, I do have a tendency to still want to call it its own name. I'm not as keen on trying to make clay hut builder and late clay rooms work because I just might not even be able to grow into them. It really depends on if we get early growth or not. All right, the 6 clay gets taken, so that's a slight bummer. One option is to just take 4 wood. Another is to just take traveling. The really greedy option is to play conjurer and hope 4 food comes back. Norden Watch is going to clearly sow. I think Martha is clearly going to day laborer build. But gosh, it's so greedy. It's probably unnecessarily greedy, but I kind of want to. It's really dangerous actually though, because if I pay a food here and I don't get it, okay, yeah, never mind. I won't be that greedy, team. Maybe I just take the 4 food. It's the thing I need the most. I think it's probably okay to do it here too, because I think Lushkin is gonna just take Reedstone food grain like always here, and then I think it just I think it does just go build room so twice. And so then I can just take 4 wood. I could start player into 6 wood. Oh, that part's gross. No, Lushkin has an action. Okay. Lushkin can start player into 6 wood. We'll see. I heard little chat go off. Okay. Yeah. Again, I would Martha maybe chooses not to build. No, Martha is gonna build. Okay, it's fine. I'll just take 4 wood then. Again, there's nothing wrong with just getting a 4 wood action. Taking some clay is still reasonable, but again, I don't know how much I care about the clay hut builder stuff anymore. But I'll take 4 clay. Or not 4 clay, I'll take 4 wood. I would love 5 clay next round. It would be the next stream, but we'll see what happens. Norden Watch is nowhere near a room. Norden's almost certainly sowing 2 grain with Scythe Worker. I do like that opening. That's a lot of early grain for Norden Watch. But Martha gets 1 room down. Martha can't double build off of Cottager. That's the one downside of Cottager. You can only build 1 room at a time. It's not a big downside here, but Norden is buying the resources as I expected, and he's going to get to sow his grain. Why is 5 clay so much better than 4 clay? You don't see it. I don't know if it's that much better, but it's just a little better. The real issue here is I have to take 4 wood, so I would love 5 clay next round because I'm not taking 4 clay here. I don't want to leave multiple 6 wood piles. Like, Lushkin already has the option to start player onto 6 wood here, or just take 3 wood or leave 6 wood. But yeah, this early sow is cool. Yeah, I mean this early double grain field is pretty sweet, especially with Scythe Worker, right? I mean he's harvesting 4 grain. The only downside is he's so far away from room parts. That's a little scary. I think if you're going to sow these early grain field, that's really risky to be that far behind. I like Lushkin's opening a decent bit beyond the hole, or except for the hole. I'm not a big fan of Scullery. I also don't like the canoe. I'm not sure I would pay the wood for the canoe here. You have a storehouse keeper that's working, but whatever. Anyhow, Lushkin is going to open 6 wood then. We'll see what flips here. I presumably am just taking a veg food, though. Yeah, I'm just going to take veg food. We do hit Reno, so that's fine. My childless and just my game, I think, really prefers the idea at this point of just late family growth. Martha has really cheap rooms. The main way that really cheap rooms are very good is if growth comes early. So I'm pretty happy with late growth. This board is kind of crummy. I'd like 5 clay. I would take Reedstone food just to set up for later renos, and then I'm happy to like just awk out Conjurer. Even though it's kind of going to be late, I think I'm still happy playing Conjurer this game. Alternatively, I could play Hedgekeeper. I think Hedgekeeper during the middle rounds is actually one of the strongest times to try to get away with Hedgekeeper and then Fence, but it tends to mean there's so much... It tends to put so much wood into the game for my opponents. that I'm always nervous about playing Hedgekeeper. I have children. No children here. I'm childless. It's Reno Fireplace. Oh, that's why 5 clay is better than 4 clay. That's a strong point. Master Bricklayer. So I usually think Master Bricklayer is pretty bad, but here it might be okay. 5 clay from Norden. That's a shame. What is Norden doing with all this clay? I'm a little caterwauly about that one. What the heck is that for? The title sounds like I've sent children for a trip and want to play Agricola. Ah, that's fair. I mean, um, I don't understand that clay grab from Norden. It seems like he needs everything besides more clay. I mean, I guess it's just going to be clay rooms, and he's going to buy his way down to Reed with Grocer. But I mean, I guess Norden just buys a hearth maybe, and then takes all the sheep. I really don't understand the clay grab from Norden, but that's unfortunate. I don't like the. I'm not a. Well, okay, these stables aren't the worst. I don't tend to like stables because I think it just slows you down on fencing. But given that Lushkin has like very likely sheep, I think that's okay. Martha's gonna start player in order to grow first. I'm okay with this. I don't want to fight. Martha's playing a sack cart. Can't even build another room now. I don't know about whatever. I'm not super afraid of any of my opponents thus far. Is really where I'm at. Norden is building the fireplace, so he is going to actually get the sheep. Lushkin's not, so I like seeing that. And here it is just playing Ock, and I guess it is just Conjure. The rest of my hand's pretty garbagey at this point. Clay Hut Builder's like no good. I'm not renovating to clay on time, probably. I don't really want to play Hedgekeeper. So yeah, we'll throw Conjure into the game. It's fine. Growth does flip. I think that's life-saving for Martha. I think if Growth doesn't flip, I think Martha just like lost the game, which I would have been delighted about. But that Growth flip is definitely good for Martha. I will start player to grow next round. Probably just play Mining Hammer and then maybe play Beanfield on Growth or something, but Northern Watch has to take the sheep. We knew that. I will play Mining Hammer. I'll eventually, presumably, Reno and stuff this game, but who knows. Clay Shame is real. I mean, Northern Watch just built a fireplace there, right? And he couldn't Reno. I mean, he can Reno now, so I mean, I guess off of Grocer, if he takes like some Reedstone food and buys all of his groceries, he can Reno. But I don't like that 5 clay move from Norden much. I mean, it's mostly because I'm annoyed. I wanted it, right? So I mean, whatever. He slowed me down, but I'm not clear what his plan is. But I guess it's just build a clay room is probably the plan. But I think it looks like it's way too slow is what the real issue is, right? Martha just grew, and Martha has Carpenter's Parlor. Norden Watch is not ready to grow. I start player to grow. Lushkin start players to grow. Martha start players to grow again. So Norden Watch isn't going to get to grow until 5th or something. I mean, he's just going to be out of the game. I think Norden's already lost this game by a lot. But that happens, so whatever. My real question is, do I want clay for anything? I could still set up for Reno clay hut builder stuff, so I could take. Okay, Norden is renovating, so that does suggest he does care about the clay room, but he's clay ovening. Oh, okay, wait, he still can buy. Okay, Grocer provides him another clay if he gets enough food here, and he really does need an oven. Okay. I mean, he at least will get a clay room, but again, he's just growing 5th. I think that's gonna kill him. But sometimes you just kind of have bad growth breaks too, so whatever. I think I take 3 wood here, because otherwise, I think the problem is Lushkin has to start player next round, and then Martha gets 6 wood if it's left. I mean, Martha might just get 6 clay, but I'd rather not leave 6 wood to Martha here. My next round is probably grow and then just take 3 food, assuming it's there. I don't know how my opponent's food is. Really, the food around the table is actually pretty good, though. There's been some day laboring. There's a bunch of sheep. Northern Watch set up a bunch of baking grain. The Skullery actually has added a decent amount of food, so I very likely can travel next round if I want. And I probably will want to. After I grow next round, I'm not assuming this clay stack doesn't exist, and this wood stack probably doesn't exist, so either I can like take 3 reed or just take traveling. I'm gonna take another grain food here. Yeah, I take another grain food. I family growth with bean field here. The only other option is like threshing board or bread pat. Well, probably threshing board, but I don't have an oven, so. What's the stage 3 goal? I think the stage 3 goal is to just start farming hard, which means plowing a lot and taking a lot of wood. The upshot is it like wood pressure looks really like it looks like there's a lot of wood pressure for the moment, partly because of these stables, partly because a lot has gone to improvements. But nobody looks like they're gonna fence all that soon, and I would be happy to just fence and make a pretty farm this game. Also, it doesn't look like there's any plow help yet. I did not see plow driver or assistant tiller, and maybe somebody has one of those, but I don't know who. So I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled about just getting to do a lot of farm. Wow, Lushkin's not start playing. That's really dangerous. Martha can start player and day laborer. Or maybe Martha doesn't have enough food. Martha actually might have to take food here. Uh, yeah, actually, I might not get traveling here. I just saw that. Martha's feeding is atrocious. I mean, Martha does have day labor, but it might need to be 3 food here, then day labor, but farming includes fencing. Yeah, when I say farming, farming to me is like is doing the fencing and animals, is doing the plowing and crops. What exact stuff of farming I'm doing, I don't know. I'm not actually sure I'll be fencing quite in stage 3 because I don't know if I want to fence if I can't fence 15. And fencing 15 in stage 3 seems a little unlikely given my current position. I mean, it depends a lot on how the wood actions fall, but I would expect more so that I'm trying to fence 15 in round 10 probably. But it means I'm taking a lot of wood and plowing. I think that's kind of the dream. I think I'd rather be out of the room fight. Because like Lushkin is hypothetically gonna grow here, and then Martha grows here, and then Norden grows here. So like if I even try to get into the room fight, I'm not growing till round 11. Like, it's not even worth it. Martha is just going to day labor first action and threaten room, so Lushkin will probably have to start player on the wheel here. Um, I might just take traveling players because I'm really curious what Martha does about that. I guess Martha would take 3 reed and major BMW, but I think if I take 3 food here, I don't know what Martha does. And now if 6 clay is left to me, maybe I just have to take that. But Norden's going to take all the clay, so whatever. I'm definitely just going to food pressure the table. Then Martha is the one that's grown the most. And maybe I don't need to kick Martha, but I think this is just my best action anyhow. I mean, the alternative is 3 reed, which I don't want, or 3 wood, but do I get 3 food, grain, and a wood? So like, yeah, do I value 2 wood or do I value 3 food and a grain? I'd rather have 3 food and a grain here. Lushka does start player, makes sense. The one downside is it looks like Martha might be getting left 6 wood here. Martha also does look like they're going to get 3 reed into BMW, so their feeding is going to be okay, which is really a shame. They can BMW because of Master Bricklayer. Yeah, so unfortunately they're also are going to get gifted 6 wood at the start of next round, so Martha's game is still very strong here, unfortunately. Norden continues to kind of baffle me. We'll see what Norton's up to. I'm hoping to get 4 wood next round. Martha presumably takes 6. The fact that Norton didn't build a room there is actually a shame. If Norton built a room, Norton would buy himself 6 wood because Martha would have to start player to grow. But instead of building a room there, Norton took reedstone food. Oh, but because he's short a reed. Never mind, he couldn't build yet. Ugh. Okay, I think Norton's 6 clay was just excessively greedy this round. Norton needed to take the reed stack there or take reedstone food and just build a room that round. I think Norton. I'm gonna keep complaining about Norton taking clay piles, but I honestly, like, again, it's a little bit because I'm annoyed because I would love a clay stack. I think it would just be good for me, but it's more than me being just purely annoyed. I really think Norton is slowing his game down way too much by taking clay piles, and this is something we used to always make fun of Mike for, Mike Chike from like Terra Mystica. During the pandemic, we played a lot of Agricola, and Mike is the player that would always see a big clay stack and just take it, even if he doesn't have a plan for it. And like Norton here, it looks like the same thing. To me, it looks like Norton took 6 clay and has no use for it anytime soon. And that even though it's a very efficient action in terms of how many resources you're getting, it does nothing to accelerate your game. And I think Norton's going to be punished for it here. But is he trying to fence in big country this round using rammed clay? Well, he doesn't have rammed clay, so I mean, we'll see. Maybe Norton Watch has some tricky reason for all this clay. I mean, you're right. Maybe I could be surprised still, but if Norton Watch is setting it up, that reedstone food he took last round is utterly, completely baffling. It has no place in this game. I think Norton Watch absolutely is building a room, but he would have just played rammed clay second move around one. He doesn't have it. Yeah, I mean, I think I agree that has to be the case. Norton Watch is so baking here. I think this is mostly just so he gets more food, and then he's going to build a room. But that means Martha's just growing. Norton Watch isn't even pressuring Martha. I'm still pretty annoyed, but whatever. I get 4 wood here. But I think Norton Watch's his stage 1 was horrible. Again, I mean, Norton Watch set up 2 grain fields, which is fun. It's a lot of food, but like, yeah, I mean, again, I'm very unimpressed. Look at those beautiful grain fields. Again, Norton Watch has grain, and he has food, and he has clay, but he doesn't have growth. He doesn't have wood. I mean, you can't win a game this way. It's just so not good. But oh well. I'm just gonna plow here. My feeding admittedly is not like super good either. I kind of could use some clay and stone, and maybe a stone oven is my plan. Yeah, stone oven could work for me. The rest of my round is I'm gonna plow, and then I don't really have a good action for my final action, which is unfortunate, but we'll see. He might have sleeping corner. That would explain everything. That's fair. He almost certainly, yes, he does have sleeping corner. Cap. Yeah, there it is. Cap. That does answer a lot of things. So one wild option is I could take a single reed here and build a room, and I would grow next round instead of Martha. I mean, Martha could stable block me. I think that's God, that's a really taking a single reed action. Instead of taking a single reed action, I could play Brushwood Collector, and then I still could build a room here. How would Martha block me? Martha builds stables. Does Martha want to build stables? Can't imagine. Building and growing here is probably pretty strong. Is it though? Yeah, exactly. Martha would get grow. And I have to take bad moves here compared to just plowing. And then the other problem here is if I fight for growth, it's going to be in a game that kind of has turbocharged growth anyhow, because Norden is about to add extra grow actions to the game anyhow. So generally when there's extra grow actions in the game, it means people late are going to fight for farming, and it's probably still better for me just to farm. But it's hard to say. Part of the problem here too is I don't actually have a great action here. Like maybe it's just take 3 clay. I don't really want to take 3 clay, but I guess it's enough to reno with. And what else? Wow, I can't even take 3 clay. Okay. I wish I had Ox I want to play. As crazy as it is, it might be correct to just hit traveling players here. I mean, everything else. Well, 2 stone is okay. Is it though? There's already a master bricklayer in the game. There's not that many improvements left. 2 stone feels pretty weak too. 2 wood feels pretty weak. Ox is just none of these are good. None of my Ox do anything anymore. I think it is just take traveling players, but yikes. Hey, Iggy Kid rating. Thanks. I appreciate it. Anyhow, yeah, that was an unfortunate action there. To essentially throw away an action is pretty lame, but there wasn't much to do. There's 4 clay. The question is, how much do I need 4 clay? Would I have taken 3 wood if they were available? Yes, I would have taken 3 wood. Nordenwatch is not growing this round. Nordenwatch is taking reed and double building, which probably is fair enough. But yikes, he's growing late. But Nordenwatch is gonna have no wood this game. Teal needs food. I probably get a 3 wood action this round anyhow, so maybe it is just take the 4 clay. I'm getting sick of not having enough clay. Milk jug is a lot of food for me, and I do have food problems. Or this extra clay is the stone oven that I need to feed. Yeah, any of that's fine. I might just plow actually anyhow. Plowing is probably more important than 3 wood here for me. So then it's like plow, and then maybe it's reedstone food to set up Reno stone oven. We'll see. Is it me and Martha in this game? Hedgekeeper was very viable then. Yeah, so look, I could play Hedgekeeper as a 3 wood action, but it cost me a food. And then it also like somewhat disincentivizes me from taking more wood off the board. I don't know. Maybe I need to warm up to playing Hedgekeeper more often, but I just don't usually believe in it. It missed that we have a lasso in the game, but that's just a minor annoyance. It's not a big deal. Anyhow, deranged. I don't think there's anything super wrong with Lushkin's game. Although he's played a lot of iffy improvements. Martha's feeding is kind of bad, but they're about to play pottery here, so I mean guilds are a decent way to feed. And then Martha still has a really just very cheap rooms. Martha not getting enough reed this game is actually a really slowing. Like Martha has to eat a reed rather than get another room down anytime soon. Martha could stone oven here, but does pottery. Martha still like could stone oven on me someday, which is a little annoying too, as part of my plan. Nordenwatch is presumably, yeah, Nordenwatch is finally buying his groceries, and he is gonna double build, so that's fine. Funny title. Well, thanks. There is also 3 stone, but again, I think that's a distraction. Reedstone food here so that I can reno stone oven, and possibly even just reno stone oven this round is Probably really good, actually. Guaranteeing myself the stone oven is good points, and it just guarantees my feeding. It does slow me down on taking plow, which I really need. Plows look really tight this game. So the other option is just take plow and then wheel reedstone food or the wood and hope that teal has to eat their clay, and so they're no real threat to take the stone oven for a while. It's a tough one too. I think I do take reedstone food. I think Lushkin's likely just taking 3 wood. This is just a slightly anti-Martha move too. Like, maybe I'm still worrying too much about Martha's game, because Lushkin's game is totally fine. Oh, Martha still wants to grow this round though, right? Martha has problems. There's going to be huge stone piles at the end. Turning 3 stone into points now seems very good. Yes, that's the other big part, exactly, right? Like, the fact that there's still this master bricklayer in the game is injecting so much stone, and so getting like some points here seems very good. Lushkin is fencing 4. I really don't like that, but I mean, they're gonna get the boar then, so congrats. But yeah, I think I do just Reno stone oven here. Next round I take wood and plow. Stone tongs. Oh my god, team, what is, I mean, they're gonna get to take the stone pile, and I guess they guarantee a future Reno, but all right, I can't believe they're playing stone tongs. This also actually allows me to take the Parabor, which is good fun. And then again, this feeds me very well throughout the next stage and even in the future. So I think that's quite good. So yeah, my priority might not even be wood next round. Actually, it's probably is just plow. I really need to get my field so I can start sowing crops. Otherwise, I mean, my game's pretty good here as long as I can fence and take animals. Now, do I get animal pairs is kind of the question, but we'll see. I mean, things are still looking pretty good for me. I really like how much food I have now too. My food is riding really well. We'll see what happens. Again, I'll take a 4 wood action here. Norden Watch, or again, I could take the Parabor. I mean, Lushkin's gonna take the Parabor. Presumably, that's like the only reason they fenced, but I think taking the Parabor might just be a mistake for Lushkin. Like, Lushkin totally needs more wood. I don't like this fence 4 action at all. I think it was really bad. Why did I read Stone Food last round? Um, that's true. I could have taken the stone action in order to Reno. I took Reedstone Food just because it let me Reno Stone Oven, but I could have taken 3 stone instead. You're right. I should have taken 3 stone deranged. That was actually a mistake. I should have taken 3 stone last round, Reno Stone Oven, because I could always read Stone Food in the future. Whereas this way, I kind of need to get, wow, adoptive parents for Norden. Okay, adoptive parents also makes Norden's game a bit better. I'll give him that. I shouldn't have questioned Norden's game as much as I did, although Norden has no wood. I think Norden's game's still too slow here because he's gonna get wood starved. He's sitting after the like. We'll see, but that's my prediction. But I really want plow still this round. 4 stone this round is. I'd eventually like to Reno, so I want a 3 stone action at some point. I'd like a 4 clay action someday probably, because maybe I have enough food that I actually reasonably could play bottles this game. So if I get even a 3 clay action might be enough. What else am I doing with clay? Playing milk jug maybe. So 4 clay so I can play milk jug and bottles potentially. Even just 3 clay though, so I can play bottles is fine. Lushkin is taking the boar. Oh, Lushkin has lasso, so Lushkin can lasso and still take 4 wood. That's probably fine, but I think I think this fence action's still pretty wrong. Like, I get that they get more animals sooner, but they can't even eat these animals currently. Wow, they take 4 stone instead of 4 wood. I think that's a complete misreading of what's important this game. Martha, yeah, just slams on the 4 wood, which totally makes sense. I think Lushkin completely misread the resource economy there. Well, unless Lushkin has a Stonehouse Ock, I guess. Maybe Lushkin has a plow driver I haven't seen that I never saw. I just got past Shifting Cultivation. That's incredible. Shifting Cultivation is such a good card here for me. Although it's good for everybody. I'm taking plow here, and then I'll fence. If I never saw plow driver, it means he first picked. Yes, that's what I'm saying. But it's totally reasonable that he first picked plow driver. I've seen nothing else out of his hand aquas. So I mean, what did he take first? I have no idea. It very well could be plow driver. We already see Grocer. If there was an assistant tiller this game, I assume it already would have hit the table. So like, what did he first pick? He could have had a bad pack, but most of the like reasonable first pick options, I never, I don't, yeah, like plow driver is probably the most sensible one. So it would help explain to me why you would take 4 stone over taking 4 wood. Although playing the well then maybe is the bigger mistake. I don't know. Whatever. Anyhow, yeah, I'm just fencing here. It's not the greatest round to be fencing, but I can get the pair of sheep next round. I'd love to plow and then sow a bunch of crops. I'd love to get another field down and sow a bunch. I could maybe start player to plow, because that way if I get plow sow, or even better if I get family growth in 12. Taking some clay so I can play bottles is totally reasonable too. So I still have enough actions, and there's still traveling players is always an option for me. It's a lot of stuff that I don't really need. Anyhow, sorry, I plowed. What was I doing? I was fencing, yeah. Just let's get the fencing action out of the way this game. Just gonna fence 15 here. I don't see a reason to do anything other than my standard fencing arrangements because I still want to plow a bunch. I want to leave myself open to max fields. I might have one open space this game, but so be it. But yeah, the thing I'm really regretting, the thing I really regret is what Deranged pointed out. I should have taken 3 stone last round. That was just actually a pretty big error to take Reedstone food in order to get that Reno. If I take 3 stone, I'm a Reedstone food away from Reno, whereas currently I need a 3 stone action. And now there should be 3 stone actions pretty soon, but it's a little awkward on the timing. So anyhow, yeah, this round, plowing, sowing, 2 sheep. Those are some of the priorities. 4 clay again, or even 3 clay, so that I can play bottles is pretty important. Is pretty good too. Martha is getting ready to build another room. It's fine. Norden plows. That's unfortunate. What's the best way to learn these kinds of complex games? You tried reading the rule book, but it's still very confusing. Yeah, Deranged has a great follow-up question there. Are you just... Sorry, I also got distracted here. How much do I even care about these 2 sheep is an excellent question. I mean, it's a pretty good action, but it's not that important to me. I might prefer to take 4 clay here and then start player shifting cultivation into a sow action. And just assume I can get sheep later. I mean, who's going to eat the sheep? Norden Watch? Maybe. Yeah, I think I prefer this. I also just think taking clay is actually really annoying to the table. I think there's actually a lot of clay pressure in the game. Assuming Lushkin actually wants to reno to clay, which he does. So I do have the correct read here. Lushkin presumably is trying to reno to clay. This means Martha doesn't even have clay to eat for pottery this round, and Martha's renos are looking very difficult to achieve. They're coming very late now, so I think the clay pressure is actually pretty good there. Get reasonably good is what you mean. Okay, so getting reasonably good at these complex games is tricky. But I think Yellinger has good points. I think generally trying to watch streamers is a good way. I think the actual best way is if there's some strategy guides. The really shameful, the kind of unfortunate thing is I don't think there's that many high quality Agricola strategy content. Lumen and I have been talking. We've been talking about trying to make some, but Lumen's been busy. I've been busy. But I would like to see some better strategy stuff made for Agricola. Zorus has obviously made some like really indispensable guides for Terra Mystica, and that's been incredible for that community. Um, and the fact that we don't have that sort of stuff for Agricola is kind of a shame. Um, Zorus is on his way to making Agricola stuff. I mean, that's true. He did start typing up some BGG stuff. That's a great link to Pembo. Great call. That's a useful strategy article wrote by a very strong player. Now the tough part is I don't know how much strategy content we have that helps like really at kind of the beginner to good level. Like the one to Pembo just linked is a little aimed at people that kind of are already good. But yeah. Sorry, what was I doing here, team? Am I playing bottles here? Or I talked about start players shifting cultivation so I could sow because planting my crops this round's pretty good too. Huh. I took the clay to play bottles. Let's play bottles and let's also, I might hit plow sow. So what's the point of sowing right now? Let's just get bottles out. Zorus is the one with the best game series on YouTube. Yes. So that guy has a lot of strategy videos for Terra Mystica as well. He just has like faction strategy guides. He has general strategy guides for Terra Mystica, and there's some really good content for like the kind of lower level players to like understand how to get good. Um, but yeah, Terra Mystica has so much strategy content, which is great. Agricola strategy content. If you're trying to get good at Agricola, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of great resources to point you to, but there's some. So there's at least that. In general, for these complicated strategy games, generally you kind of wander around YouTube, you type Google and you type the game and strategy, and you hope stuff exists, but it's tough. The all of us in this like little community clearly care about talking about games deeply, playing them at high level, talking strategy. Apparently, we're the slightly weird ones within the gaming community. Even though all gamers and all the board game geek people seem to care about games being balanced and having good strategy, most of them don't play games at all often enough. There's very little strategy discussion on most board game geek forums. There's very few people that I think actually have good advice, even when they do post stuff, because they just aren't playing against good opponents often enough, etc. So it's a little disappointing when that happens. Lushkin really needs to learn to not fence multiple times. The guide that Tepembo linked explains it pretty well, but generally you want to take 2-point actions throughout the game. And the problem with like fencing not all at once means that each fence action in between you somehow have to be picking up 2 points of value. And I guarantee you Lushkin is not picking up enough value here. Like I have no clue what he's doing, but anyhow, what was I doing as my final action here, though? This was the problem that I didn't plan for, team. Oh, I just take 2 sheep finally, right? There we go. Solved it. Oh, or do I take traveling? I will need more food for the future. I've left myself into some food problems. I take traveling next round. The only good thing for teal is 5 people. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. I guess this is just a guaranteed 3-point action, so I should just do it. But I'm a little nervous, actually, about how I've positioned myself food-wise. Because if I don't get traveling players next round, I actually think I kind of die. I think I have to be safe here. Blah, blah, blah. Is Teal's game bad, or am you not seeing something? You see no crops, no animals, no reno, and not much other points. Okay, So Teal has 5 people. Teal also has a decent amount of wood in order to fence with, and Teal has some guilds which can provide ways to score points. I think Teal's game is actually still fine. And that might be a little crazy, but they have a lot of actions to sort some of this out with. The biggest issue I see for Teal is the fact that we really put the clay pressure on. That makes their pottery a lot worse, and it makes their renos look very sketchy. So that part I would be very afraid of for Teal. But Norden's farm's quite attractive. Yeah, Norden's only problem with his game, and that I kept saying, was Norden has a wood problem, right? Defense pressure still looks pretty strong for my opponents, including the wood pressure. Yeah, Norden's taking 2 wood actions. I mean, Norden has a lot of actions, so it might work out. But the wood pressure is Norden's only issue. I will grant adoptive parents sleeping corner really did help out. I wasn't thinking about those things at the time. Norden definitely grew too late, except for the fact, oh wait, he had guaranteed access to growth and he could get some actions back. So that helped a lot. The trash talk ended when he played the corner. Yeah, when Norden revealed sleeping corner plus adoptive parents, I became a lot more willing to accept his plan. Now, should I have realized Norden Watch probably had some of those? Yeah, I mean, that's my bad. We do hit growth because we're a lucky son of a gun. Growth is better here than plow sow. Growth is very good for me. The only slight issue here is this board is crazy good. All of these animal pairs I would love. I would love plow. The upshot is I should get some of the animal pairs. Like Lushkin maybe continues to spam his lasso, but like he doesn't have room for these animals. So Lushkin presumably needs to take Reno. Like he looks like a guy really caring about Reno with this 4 stone. We'll see. I'm not sure anybody takes the cows on me anyhow. Even if they do, I should get the boar at least, or I get 3 sheep. The wood pressure is high. Although, yeah, Martha accidentally took 2 wood there. But yeah, the wood fight is intense. Prepare for the lasso. Yeah, I'm always afraid of lasso. But I think it looks like I'm getting 2 cows now. I mean, Norden Watch could take them for food. Because what else is Norden Watch doing on this board? Let's go star player. Norden Watch has sleeping corner. So the upshot is Norden Watch is also growing this round. So that means I'm going to get grow next round or who knows what else. But the cows are great here. You think I still get 2 breeding pairs if I want them? Yeah, I think so too. I think I get sheep or boar here. Now, the bigger concern to me is exactly how I'm going to finagle feeding. It's a little tight, but I'll find a way. It's mostly I need to get a bake action with stone oven, but maybe I can play bread paddle or something in order to buy myself a bake action or something. Like there's ways. The real question is, what is Norden Watch opening next round? It looks like Norden Watch will plow sow, which means I have the option to grow again next round, and I don't know if I can afford it. Do you think Lushkin should have fenced a non-stable hex on his board? Yeah, that's an option. Lushkin then could have had some animals. I mean, the real answer is Lushkin should not have kept fencing. Lushkin needed to take more wood and just fence more all at once, and then he could take more animal pairs. But, you know, whatever. Lushkin is setting up to Reno. It's fine. I probably take 3 sheep here over taking the boar. The reason I don't take the pair of boar here is because I still have pig breeder as an out for taking or getting boar eventually. And I might just get 3 boar next round, and getting 3 boar next round is totally fine then too, whatever, but it would have let him, yeah, sorry, I'm just catching up, but I mean, ultimately, Lushkin is not competitive in this game, is my read. Lushkin only has 3 family members. He has way too many empty spaces, not enough resources. There's nothing happening here. Teal, I still think Teal has a ton of actions. The big issue for Teal is it does look like the plow pressure is going to kill Teal, because Norden Watch is opening plow sow, and maybe I just open plow and then try to wheel sow bake, because who else is going to sow on me? I guess Lushkin, but I think it's reasonable for me to plow and to sow bake next round. Yeah, that means that Lushkin probably grows, which is fine. But plow blocking Martha also does mean that I probably am actually not worried about Martha's game. I'm probably overvaluing Teal's position here just because they're the highest rated player and I liked some of what they were up to early. But the other problem for Teal is that getting Reno part sucks. They have to take 2 clay actions in order to Reno, and then still need another read action and another stone action. So like even getting to Reno is a lot of actions, even though it's a lot of points. Northern Watch takes the sheep, so the theory of taking sheep because I have Pig Breeder just died. But oh well, I just take the pigs. Um, I think I am winning this game at this point. I mean, Northern Watch also still has big wood issues, and if he's opening Plow Sow, I just don't know. I mean, he's gonna get to grow here at the end of this round. I mean, that's pretty big. I still can try to take a 3 stone action in Reno, by the way. That's still one of my goals too. Teal not having the well was super bad early, and after that, not having an oven to turn the grain cart grains was the last nail in the coffin. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, part of Teal's problem is his feeding has just been trash all game. It's been really bad. He can't even eat off his pottery, and he grew to a huge family. And then I keep taking traveling players, and Lushkin has taken fishing once or twice, so even bottom feeding hasn't been good this game. So yeah, he's had no way to eat efficiently. Which can often happen when enough clay gets taken. I mean, Northern Watch's impact on the clay this game is definitely pretty big. I think the 2 rounds where I took 4 clay here thus far this game have been pretty impactful downstream. Lushkin wanted clay in order to Reno, and Martha is getting just totally killed on clay and not being able to feed. If Martha had been able to just build a hearth this game, imagine how much better Martha's game is when they're just taking 6 food and 8 food actions here. So I think that's a great point, Yellinger. I think Teal lost this game because of bad feeding. 2 wood is getting taken by Lushkin. You gotta love to watch all these players not have enough wood, and for me just to be fenced out. Again, a lot of why I'm winning this game is probably just because I fenced out early enough. And again, a lot of the problem for these other players is they just didn't take enough early wood. Why Lushkin has 4 stone right now instead of 4 more wood is a great question we can ask ourselves, right? Lushkin is the one that took that 4 stone action. Looks like a mistake at this point. Again, it's an easy mistake to make. Animal Dealer from Teal, that will help them get some more animal points, but they don't have the food to support Animal Dealer, right? Like, how are they going to afford that? 3 stone gets taken by Norden. That makes sense. He wants to Reno. So I actually do really kind of want this 3 stone action next round because it's 3 stone and then I Reno. I get a stable because of Mining Hammer. So it's a pretty good sequence for points, but it's really not my priority. Yeah, look, deranged. I mean, that's what's like so crazy about this Agricola game, right? Like some games, 4 stone is a great action. It's really good, and it's absolutely worth taking. But same thing with like 6 clay, right? Like one of the things that's so tough and ridiculous about Agricola is understanding the constantly shifting values of resources based on what other people are up to and what cards have been played and what you need to do, and reading the tempo and all of that is in no way trivial or easy. And so, yeah, I don't blame you in the slightest for any of that. Teal does fence huge and starts taking crops, but yeah, their points are at 17. They're pretty far from Renos, and they're pretty far from feeding. Doesn't look to be a big issue. Norden Watch's game, he has a Reno set, he has Plow Sow, he has a full family. It's really just does he get enough wood for fencing? And again, the wood pressure is very... well, Lushkin and Norden are the ones fighting for it. So, I mean, he'll get to do it late. Plow Sow does get taken. I cannot justify growing here. I will let Lushkin grow. That's fine by me. I'm just going to plow. I would love to plow and then sow. The real question is Lushkin going to sow first action here? And I think the answer is no way if I give them growth. So I think I can plow into sow bake, and I think I kind of have to in order to feed well. The greedy question is, can I take traveling players and then so bake? That's what I would prefer to do because it means that I could bake 2 grain. And I might be greedy enough to attempt that because I'm crazy. It's actually not that crazy either. If I take traveling here, I still have the option of like start player bread paddle, and then I can bake off of Akin, and I could just like I could play pig breeder as dumb as it is or something. It's not what I'd want to do, but I also could just start player milk jug. Milk jug's gonna get me 3 food this round. So like I could just travel, start player milk jug or something, but this is okay. Wow, wait. Teal took 3 wood. I'm guessing Teal took 3 wood just to build the joinery, but I love that Teal took 3 wood, because yeah, that's forcing Norden to take terrible wood actions. What does Lushkin do here? I still want 3 stone too, but does anybody else want 3 stone? I guess Martha wants 3 stone if they have a conservator. Which conservator would be huge for Teal. How much does it suck if I don't get to Reno this game? It's probably fine. I have enough things to be doing still, right? Let's take traveling players, try to solve our food issues. If we can sow bake here, it's really awesome. We can sow 2 grain, 2 veg because we have bean field. So sow bake still the dream. Lushkin takes the clay, so that really would seem to kill Teal's Reno prospects unless Teal does have conservator, which I can't remember if conservator's in this draft anymore. I've drafted too much today. Conservator would certainly help Teal's game out, but again, it looks too little, too late probably even then. Because Teal's never getting 2 fields next round. Lushkin also, again, I just think it's too little too late. Like, I don't know what our Oxy has, but his farm's just nowhere there. The only real competitor here looks to be Northern Watch. The Bricklayer saves. Yeah. Yep. That's great analysis from Yellinger. So unfortunately, Teal does take the 3 stone, so I never am gonna Reno again. So my earlier mistake this game and not taking the stone pile is really gonna punish me. That is not getting to Reno again is definitely a pretty big bummer. Because I am actually about to run out of some points. After I sow bake here, I don't have a lot left to do. So I actually probably do just start player milk jug here, or start player threshing board even. I partly want to start player just so that Norden Watch is last. Norden Watch being last will make it harder for him to get the actions he wants. And I really am only concerned about Norden Watch beating me, but this is looking like kind of a low-scoring game. I definitely have cost myself by not getting to Reno. If I start player Milk Jug, I am definitely going to get fed. Gives me a guaranteed plow sow next round, which should be pretty good. The real question is, can I survive? I really do kind of want to make Norden Watch last. I think it's part of how I make sure I beat him. I think I probably just get so big here anyhow, but it's definitely a little risky to play like threshing board instead of just playing milk jug here. I'll just play milk jug. Start player plus the field miner. That's even riskier. That's really gambling on plow soak, or not, sow bake coming back. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was better though, because I mean, Northern Watch is at 31, and he has a big fence action. I have a big sow action, but like I run out of points pretty fast next round. The Reno block is really actually that was really a big problem for me. I should not have let that happen, but it really just comes back to yeah that dumb. I just should have taken the 3 stone action. I was thinking there was going to be so much stone this game, and I mean to be fair, there is. Like, what the hell is? Why does everybody have so much stone? I don't know what they're going to do with it all, but what is yeah? What's Teal doing with all this stone? I think Teal has to have Conservator. I agree. I can't imagine what Teal has here besides Conservator. Um, I can't. There's no way Teal takes that stone action and plays Stone Tongs even probably this game without it. Although Teal playing Stone Tongs is still baffling too. If I was Lushkin, yeah. Look, I don't know, whatever. Anyhow, I do really regret not taking that 3 stone action earlier this game. It was just a bad read. If I have 3 stone here, I can easily take a reed stone food on one of these turns, and then I could Reno again. And being able to Reno again with Mining Hammer, very good stuff. Lushkin might just be building the joinery here. He has the resources for it. No, he's playing a cooking hearth because his feeding is bad. Okay. He does have so many animals. Here comes that sweet milk jug food. Does help everybody out a bit, which is always the downside of milk jug, but... So what's the chance that Lushkin's going to grow first action next round? It's probably pretty high, which is unfortunate. I would really like to be able to plow sow and then grow. That's the real dream. You'd think Lushkin might actually want to like plow another field himself or something, but whatever. I mean, the fact that I have shifting cultivation in my hand is still a pretty good out. This will be a 2-point action next round for me, so I like that. I potentially could take wood and build stables or something. We'll see. I'll find some things. Groom. A good old 1-point action from Northern Watch here for 1 food. I'm glad that he's at 1-point actions. The fact that Norden doesn't have fences yet is actually really hurting him because he can't put animals in them. Anyhow, I do get the so bake here, so that worked out really well. I will bake bread. This is all the food I need for the game now. And then I get to sow here, and then I get to plow sow, and that'll max out my grain points, so that's going to be really good. I mean, so yeah, the plow sow is points. I breed some points, so I'm currently at 38, 40, 41. I'll get to 43, I have like 44 to 45 guaranteed, and it could be a little more than that if the actions break well. You think he's playing Cooking Hearth simply because he has nowhere to put his animals? I mean, his feeding is also a problem, right? He has food currently, but how is he feeding in the final round? I mean, I think Cooking Hearth was fine, but you're also right. He has nowhere to put his animals. He has nowhere to fence. I mean, Lushkin is almost certainly last here, I would think. We still haven't seen Conservator actually get played here. So Teal has to have Conservator though, right? Like, I mean, Teal doesn't have. There's just no way for Teal to get enough clay to Reno anymore. We'll see. I mean, ultimately, again, it looks like this is a game Northern Watch versus me. Northern Watch has a lot of points in fencing and taking animals, but does he? I mean, is it enough to actually get into the mid 40s that where I'm going to be? Maybe. It very well could be, but it also might not be. I mean, people in front of him are going to take animals. I would love to take 2 sheep next round, by the way. That's actually a huge action for me still, so we'll see if I get it. But I got to just open Plow Sow here. Plow Sow is too important to not take. I very well might not get 2 sheep this game, which... bummer, but we'll do what we can. We'll take Plow Sow, hope to get sheep or grow back. If we don't get any of those, we could take 3 wood and to build 3 stables. I don't think anybody else is building stables this round. I'm not sure what Martha's doing with all this stone, but could definitely see Martha taking the 2 sheep. I mean, I agree. I'm not sure Martha has a better first action than take the sheep, unfortunately. Um, which should be a bummer, but like, again, what can I do? Yeah, I mean, actually, Martha really might not have a better action. I'm trying to come up with what that better action is, and it might just be like play conservator, because Martha's in a slight problem if people play Ox, but I mean, I guess what Ox are people playing at this stage? See, I'm probably not getting sheep, actually. So I don't get sheep. Martha's best actions probably are to open sheep and boar. Lushkin's being slow, but hopefully that'll get solved. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is a win, but I don't like it's just it scares me a little because this is not quite as high of a score as I would normally want to have. But this whole game has been a little more kind of blocky and high level in that regard, right? Nobody's really allowed each other to have the actions they want. I'm not sure anybody's like, ooh, I really got the action sequences that were great for me. I've done pretty well, but the lack of stone to Reno is actually really my only problem. And admittedly, the lack of Reno is keeping me from like a 50 here, and 50 is usually what I am kind of aiming for. But these are all high enough level players, and everybody's having a rough game. We've really blocked each other, so maybe it's okay. Northern Watch does have a stable here, so that's although that costs them a wood, so like I guess you build it. Northern Watch really wants to take wood and then fence, but like one other slightly tricky thing for Northern Watch is like Martha could just build a fence here. I don't think it's likely, but that would be dreamy. Anyhow, I just got to take my best actions and hope everything else works out for me. This is a good 3-point action that everybody else wants, so we take it. If Lushkin doesn't grow here, I get the growth, so that would be lovely. Lushkin does take wood. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's huge for us. We get the growth for sure. And Northern Watch has to fence first action now because Lushkin is threatening. Lushkin's red fencing. Duh. Okay, so actually that wood action makes total sense. That's a big wood action for Lushkin. But it really forces Northern into a rough spot. I get the growth. I feel pretty good about winning this game now. The growth is a huge part of this round. Like that's just a 3-point action I wasn't sure about. I do need more food, but somebody's taking cow, which will give me all that food I need. That's going to let me play shifting cultivation as well. So yeah, that was big. My last action might only be like a point, but I have at least a guaranteed 3-point, a guaranteed 2-point action, and then my last action. I mean, I'd love it to be a 2-point sheep action, but if it's just a 1-point something, that's okay. 1 point can be build stables, 1 point can be just play threshing board, but somehow it'll work out. Plow is also just being left open because Teal is taking the boar. The sheep are being left, which Northern Watch doesn't want the sheep here. Northern Watch might just take the cow and hope to get fence back, but like Northern Watch can't get pigs anymore, so that's yeah. I mean, I think this is just my game, which is pretty good. The family growth, the stone grab ended up not being as important. Yeah, that's only partially true, right? Like if I had stone here, I could family growth and then still Reno. that'd be even better. But yeah, I mean it's okay. Again, I made enough good moves this game. I'm complaining about probably like one of the only real mistakes I've made in this game, and I've had a few breaks or whatever. But I definitely like I should have taken that 3 stone instead of reed stone food in the mid game. That is just a flat out error that's gonna cost me a little. But Northern Watch is at 37 after fencing. I'm still breeding a point. Things seem good. I kind of want to be greedy here and take the sheep and then try to get growth back and hope Lushkin has better things to do, but I think that's probably just wrong. You got to assume that Teal is still planning to play a conservator at some point in here, but who really knows? Lushkin is just going to plow. That makes total sense. It's a good action. But again, I still have shifting cultivation in hand for towards the end, so that's good. If I can get the sheep back here, that's the dream. But if I don't get sheep, wow, Lushkin's taking the cow. God, he is team us. I mean, actually, I guess it makes total sense for Lushkin to take the cow. His final action is Ren Fence, but that's a big break. Like, again, that's a big break because Northern Watch like has no 2-point actions left, I think. I think Northern Watch is in one of those ways, like he's just out of points. What does he do to score here? There is a conservator, so that is big for Teal. It's a big red for Teal. Teal presumably is going to red joinery, which is fine by me. But it looks like I get sheep here then, unless Norton might just take sheep because it's his best point move. Well, no, he's going to feed himself. Wow, okay, team, we really are running the dream here at the end. This was literally the perfect final round for us. Which means I am going to get significantly higher score than I was, I estimated like 45 because I was assuming that I was not necessarily going to get everything here, but I'm going to maybe get up to like 48 now. So just a good old childless win. I still think Conjurer is getting passed too much at most tables too. Like this Conjurer is a lot of how I fed this game, right? Like I played Conjurer and took Traveling Players 3 or 4 times. So like the overall sequence of those actions means I get a decent bit of extra wood and I get a decent bit of food off Traveling, and then I get a bunch of grain to hopefully score with and eat. Turned pretty good. It's a game where I didn't hate having bottles, actually. Maybe I should draft it a little more. Although, is bottles still, was it even that good? I mean, it cost me 3 food and 3 clay at a start player. Like, essentially I took a clay action. Yeah, it still probably netted me a little, but I still don't think bottles is that incredible, but it was fun. Again, really, I did not play that many cards on my hand, so like it's a little boring in that regard, but this was a thing I was talking with some experts on in like a forum recently. Like, it is kind of funky, but like part of the skill I think of being a very high level Agricola player is like learning when to play your cards and when not to. And sometimes you have to accept that you just like don't actually really want to play your cards. You gotta. I would like maybe playing more cards would have been better this game still. I don't know, but one thing you do have to learn how to just take good actions without having to leverage your occupations, which is tricky. Sorry, I kind of lost track of what I was doing there while I was thinking about how to execute that move. But also, we saw Northern Watch go ahead and play. He's essentially down to 1-point actions because he's playing Cattle Feeder just so he can take a grain in order to get a cow. Like, he's very out of points. Red Joinery from Martha totally makes sense. The rest of these players are kind of close here at the end because Norton just so wound up running out of points. Lushkin's game is still just behind. Looks like Lushkin's taking last, and Martha probably is behind Norton Watch because Martha breeds some points, but Martha has to eat a resource point or two, but we'll see. Anyhow, this is another nice win. And this is a win at a pretty good table, so this should get me a decent bit of elo. I still kind of want to be number 1, but getting to number 1 is admittedly and obviously going to be pretty tough because the Japanese players just keep playing a lot, and they're like the number 1 player is almost up to 600 now. and I just don't gain enough elo per game currently. I still kind of want to fight Terra Mystica too. I was actually queuing for Terra Mystica and then saw this Agricola table and decided to join. So little wood. Um, these other players are saying some really good points. Like some of these guys were taking 2 wood actions or even like 1 wood actions, and like that's also like a sign that you're probably losing the game. I won this game because my wood was just like gathered pretty efficiently, and then I got to fence early enough to take animal pairs, while like a lot of these players just did not actually get to fence as much as they really wanted to, or they fenced very late, or all sorts of stuff. Again, the only reason Norden isn't competitive with me this game actually is because he just doesn't have enough wood. If we imagine he had 8, more wood, he could actually fence all these spaces. That's more pasture points, more covered spaces, and then he probably would have got more animals earlier. And then he's right there with me, but it was just too slow on getting the wood. So I'm a big fan of that. It worked great for me. Teal looks like they might have taken that stone action just to block me, well, it was for their Renos, but this stone tongs is actually what looks like a really bad from Teal, right? Like, why play stone tongs? But oh well. We breed a point here and just have some extra animals. The aqua quality was very low this game. Yes, that's a great point. I actually kind of enjoy that too, though, right? Like, this card set is so small, and you often just always get these like kind of high strength games, but here we just don't have that much for strong cards. And I am partly lucky this game because I do have probably just the best card, so on top of potentially just being the best player, I did get the best occupation here. Childless is the best card. Oops, sorry, now I just changed the zoom, but Childless is probably the best card on the table. I still think Conjure is actually pretty good, and so that's a little lucky got past. But I mean, Childless is whatever, like very top tier, and then Conjure might be like a B tier card. Storehouse Keeper, in my opinion, is still pretty good too. But although Storehouse Keeper is not very good if you don't get an oven to use all your grain with, or you don't like get a BMW. So there's that. All of these cards are like C tier cards. This is a great miner. This is very strong, but outside of that, Grocer's very good, and the rest of these cards are pretty C tier. So, yeah, that was very helpful too. Axe and Sleeping Quarter. Yeah, the Carpenter's Parlor is very good. Sleeping Quarter's fine. I don't think it's actually that strong, but yeah, it's good. Norden smashing clay after Martha had pottery was pretty brutal. Yeah, I mean, the clay pressure in this game was actually another big story. Like, this was a game without much resource inflation, which we don't often see, right? Like, we're so used to, I think, seeing woodcutter games. People love to play woodcutter, and we get it played early, and that adds a lot of wood to the game, which can help make stables pay off more. But like, this is a game where I think Lushkin's stables really cost him in terms of being able to fence earlier and more fully. He lost so much efficiency this game by fencing 3 times. It's just really painful. That's essentially throwing away 2 actions compared to what I did, right? I fenced all at once. Throwing away 2 actions, you got to get a lot of value for that to be worth it. And he like just didn't, right? I have as good of animal points as Lushkin does. So, so that's one story. Another story is, yeah, clay pressure actually happened this game. Nordenwatch took enough early clay that when I got to just take 2 good 4 clay actions, that was actually pretty good. I'm really curious if Lushka did have like a stone house Ock. Maybe I should have asked him. But anyhow, I don't want to look a ton. I'm just curious about a couple of stats. Mostly See, the tough part is, okay, the amount of wood taken from the board is always interesting. Wow, only 8 wood from the board for Northern Watch. Northern Watch got only 8 wood. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough way to live. But is there... Yeah, see, the thing I would really like to have is the number of actions that you put on a wood action space, right? Like I got 20 wood, but I probably got 20 wood in like 6 actions. Whereas like this 27 wood, I think took Martha like 10 actions or something, right? Like the amount of wood per action would be an interesting stat to have, but there's already so many stats on here and it's unfortunately not always that useful. I only took 8 clay in this game, which I knew. Norden definitely took a ton of clay, which, yeah, did influence things. Wow, 15 read for Martha too. BMW plus axe, big house stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess the real story of this game is that it was an unusual revised game, I think, because there was just no resource inflation. Like, I didn't add brushwood collector, so that wasn't adding extra... Well, sorry, no resource inflation's a lie. We had stone inflated, right? Lots of stone from Master Bricklayer. Grocer adds just a trickle of extra resources. Storehouse Keeper tends to mean Reedstone food gets taken a little more often. Conservator does save a little clay, so there's some resource inflation. But and my Conjure adds a little wood, but it's pretty low, and so we actually had a pretty resource tight game in a lot of ways. So the stone deflated value, and yes, I mean correct, right? Like the other problem in Lushkin's game is that he took that 4 stone action, and it resulted in him being able to reno in the final round. Like, it's really hard to take that action in mid game compared to 4 wood. 4 wood can pay off a lot more, but again, reading all that is tough. So, oh well. Anyhow, ultimately, that was a fun win. Glad to get it. Thanks all for hanging out and chatting as always. It was good times. I've been having fun streaming, and I have some time this weekend, so I'll probably keep getting a couple games of Terra Mystica and Agricola in here and there. I'd still like to fight for the Terra Mystica crown this season, but I really only have like 2 weeks left, so I need to play a few more games. So we'll try to get some of that in, but... today, I definitely need to be done, but hopefully we can get a few things done, and hopefully in the coming weeks we can get a few more Terra Mystica stuff. Final thing I do want to check is let's see how close we are to maybe cracking the top 10 of Agricola. That's at least a goal I would really like to hit. Hitting the top 10 would be nice, but I got to get to 499, but I'm at like 487, so that's doable. I could hit top 10 soon, but... the top of the Agricola board, Bubble just keeps pushing. It's tough, but we'll see. Anyhow, as usual, I blab on too much at the end of these videos. It was good all. Fun times. I will see you all around. I'm headed off. Later.